Hello everyone, welcome back to Practical React. Tonight I'm going to be working on integrating push notifications into my PWA, and this is really this is like the setup video. These are the things that need to go into the PWA's root page. In this case it's my index HTML. Some things need to be added in terms of JavaScript directly in the page, as far as I can tell from the documentation. So that's what we're going to be doing. It's not too much to it. The first thing we're going to do is insert a JavaScript to request permission. So let's have a look at that. You can see it's pretty simple. I'm just going to copy this over from my notes. And we are going to create another script tag here. I'm going to put this as notification permission JavaScript. Alright. Let's drop this bad boy in there. Okay. Let's see if that is going to work. So we should do when we hit the page now, I suppose, is see a request. Oh, I probably don't need to compile my TypeScript. Whoops. Alright, we'll restart parcel just in case. Okay. Well, nothing. Let's clear the cache just in case that might be stopping me. Okay, look at that. Now it's asking we want to show notifications. That's great. It's exactly what I wanted to see. I'm really curious what the difference between hitting the X and the block is, and we will dig into that. I'm not going to do anything with it at the moment. Okay, great. Next step. Step 2, create a notification for when a new order is received. I want to mock it in the UI this time. Okay, so what I'm saying is that typically this notification would be coming down from the server. We are not there yet. But what I want to do is just mock that up. And I want to have two actions, and I'll get into the actions here momentarily. I think the first thing I want to do is take this code that I've already prepared here. You'll see the first block is just a mock notification. Essential properties, the body, pretty self-explanatory. This vibrate, this is apparently, it's obviously an array of numbers, and it apparently in devices that will vibrate signals the number of milliseconds in the pattern. So this would be like a vibrate for 100 milliseconds, then 50, then 100. Maybe it's 100, then break for 50, and then 100 again. This is something I'm not sure about, and I don't even know how I would cover that in this video, or in any video for that matter, because I'm probably not going to make the video vibrate. Nevertheless, there it is. In data, this one is interesting because this is the data that, regardless of what action is triggered, this is the data that gets sent back with it. And I have some ideas about what I'm going to do with that, depending on the actions. So it would be something like, and then the actions array, which is an array of objects which has an action, which is a string, a title, which is a string, and optionally an icon. I'm going to disregard the icon for my use because my first notification I want to work on is for orders when a new order comes in. So I'm not going to worry about the icon for now. But that could be kind of cool later. I guess you could do like the user profile from the orderer, but not important right now. And so what is important though is that the actions have they have an action property and a title property. So let's take this mock notification And let's see, I wonder if it matters where that goes. I suppose it doesn't. Or maybe it does. Let's see. I'm not sure how this display notification function will get called. Let's look back at this documentation. Let's see. Yeah, okay, so it looks like they're creating a main.js file, but it isn't clear at all to me how that function gets invoked. Maybe this needs to be, I would be kind of strange if that needs to be globally accessible, but that could be kind of what's going on here. I guess we're going to try it and see. With that in mind, I'm going to change this back from a fat arrow function to a conventional function declaration, but I am going to stick it still right here in the same script tag, even though they have it in main. I'm not sure what difference it makes. I suppose it does something that I will find out soon enough. Okay, that needed to be there. Okay, there we go. Alright, so we're going to do this function, and we're going to get rid of this, and we're going to get rid of this. Okay, it doesn't matter where this is. Alright, I get it now. This is something I need to invoke myself, like on click or something. So what I'm going to do with this is drop this into my React app. Let's see, where do I want to put it for now? Since I've got the login page there and I still have this check notifications test button, I guess I might borrow that again. Since I know that that's working, I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to borrow this button space again. Check. Oh wait. I guess it'll work. It'd be kind of weird to get a push notification from an app that's already open, but I guess for this step I don't know what else you could do, so we're just going to go with that. So let's drop the function in here to this context, this component. And oh, it doesn't have its options, right? I need to copy those over as well. There they are. Okay. Okay. So now it's going to be mock. Okay, so function display notifications is going to check to see if we have permission to send one. And if it is, then it is going to invoke the get registration function, which apparently returns a promise, and that promise returns this object reg. I don't know what else is in. Let's have a look at that and just see what other properties are on there while we're at it. Okay, and there is a function on that object called show notification, apparently, and default text here is, somebody can put order received. Okay, and I mean, I imagine you would move this out to like a utilities module, which I have, but let's get it working first, and then we'll set it up properly after that. Okay. Alright. So now I should be able to go into this button here, check push notifications, and we're going to change the on click I think I could probably just do this and get rid of that whole function body there and go display notification. Alright. Okay, so our button here, check push notification, is going to invoke display notification function, and if it has permission, it's going to attempt to display a notification. Just in case it doesn't work, let's see, notification triggered with permission. Okay, and yeah, that's fine. Okay, and if there's no permission, this is an incidental plan that I may cover later, but I have both SMS and email notifications set up as well already. I may get into that later, but for now we're covering our bases to make sure that we're getting some feedback from this display notification function being triggered on click. Okay, great. Okay, and I'm not going to add any actions yet. We'll do that after we see this works. Okay, let's run it. And I do need to run my TSC command in this case. Skip libcheck. Again, there's some libraries in here that I'm depending on that are throwing some errors that aren't necessary, so that's what skip libcheck is about. Okay, and it looks like parcel rebuilt it already, so let's clear data and reload here. Okay, great. I'm still getting that. That's a good thing. I still want that. Let's see. Oh, it's blocking my whole UI. Do I have to make a decision on this? I don't know how hard it's going to be to unblock it if I block it. But if I allow it, then I can't test my blocking code. Okay, I'm going to assume it's going to be relatively easy to deal with. Okay. Hey, look, so when I check push notification, when I click that button, I get a notification, and when I roll over it, you'll see that I have my notification body there. That's great. I'm just curious. Okay, so in Chrome, if I click the I here, I'll see where I can also block. Okay, let's reload it, and now that I've clicked that, let's check my code here. Yeah, it says here we need to fall back. Okay, so that's hitting its breakpoint properly. Let's go ahead and allow it again. Okay, great. Okay, so I am getting my notification, and it does say order received, and it does have a space down here for buttons to go. Okay, and the buttons will be defined by these actions here, at least theoretically. Let's see if it actually works. View. Okay. Let's put an action for dismiss. I'll check it out later. Alright, cool. So now I've got two actions. I got two actions for my mock notification. I still don't have any data. We're going to take this step by step. Is there anything else I want to see right now? I don't think so. Let's go ahead and recompile. Alright, recompiled. let's clear cache and let's hard reload. Okay. Great. Alright, I check it out later. Settings and view the new order. Great. Alright. And we do have, we did get, this is the object that's coming back from the promise that delivers show notification. Okay, so this is the reg object, and this is the object that has this show notification function. So let's see what else it has. Okay, so script URL, it has my service worker JavaScript file, which I created with Workbox. It says it's activated. Okay. On state change and on error. That's interesting. I wonder. Okay, those are service work. Okay, so that's something I can define on my service worker. Okay, so this active property is just showing my service worker. Background fetch manager. That's, I guess, something that will come into play later. Navigation preload. Not sure. Payment manager. Periodic sync. Push manager. All things probably worth investigating. Sync. Okay. But what I don't see is the method show notification. So this isn't a full description here. Let's store it as a global variable. This way I can tinker around with it some. Show notification, there's that. It says unregister, update via cache, and remove event listener. Okay. I don't know how often you use any of those. I don't think we need them right now, but we do know at least what properties there are. At least we have a vague idea. Okay. Alright, great. And so we got our push notification to work. The actions, let's see. Yes. Okay, so this data, we're going to test this here. We're going to go, I think it would be, I guess it isn't necessary actually. We're just going to put a little test data here. Let's see, we'll put the order and we'll put the ID 1. Let's see, user. Okay. Alright, so I'm assuming that this order data will come through when we add in the event listener, which we're going to do now. And apparently we need to add that into the service worker. This is our next step. So add a listener for the notification click. Alright, so this is going to cover all clicks regardless of what button is clicked in particular. And apparently it's literally just this code here. We're going to inspect the argument that comes back, but this apparently has to get added to the service worker file. And that's actually a TypeScript file. But we're just going to do this for now. It says self. Obviously self would not be defined, so it isn't clear. Let's go back and look at the docs real quick and see if I've missed anything. Listen for events. Okay, displaying notification was the first step. Now we need to handle the user interactions in the service worker. Okay, the notification close event. I'm going to skip that for now. Okay, great. Of course, there's no context here. It doesn't look like. Okay, so this event is important because it tells you how the user is interacting with your notifications. You might, for example, log the event to your analytics database, or you might use the event to synchronize your database and avoid re-notifying the user of the same event. I mean, it would seem like you could do that at the time of push, but maybe not. I don't know, maybe that's legitimate. But what I don't see, all I see is that self, and I can't imagine that's an object. I mean, that is, let's do this. But you know what I did notice actually? If we go back, remember we looked at these properties. Temp 1. Oh, I reloaded it, darn. There. So if I store this as a global variable again, and go down here and look at temp 1 dot add event listener. So you see here. So I guess self in this case would be equivalent to this. Okay. Okay. Alright, so notification click. So this I guess will fire when any of the buttons are triggered or clicked. So we're going to find out now. Let's reload parcel. It probably reloaded itself. We're going to assume it did, and we're going to go for it. Let's clear the cache. Of course that doesn't. Who the fuck knows? Clear data. Can't read property show notification if undefined. Right, it's because it caused an error up here. Okay. I don't think this is where this should be. I don't think that documentation is right. I feel like this should probably be here. Oh, not here. But right here. Because this is where but no, because this is, let's see, if I go here, go reg, I've got different formatting here. What a pain. Oh, so bothersome. Not always getting the right formatting when I'm pasting stuff in. Okay. Now, I think this will work. But you can see here in the documentation. Let's see. Let's go back and look at this. See, it says this needs to go in the service worker JS. but it isn't clear what self is supposed to be in the service worker JS. And clearly it shouldn't go there, so I don't know. I'm not going to say it's, well, yeah, it's kind of bad documentation because it definitely isn't clear. Anyhow, okay, let's rebuild that React code, and let's have another look. Oh, right, don't forget to clear the cache. All right. Okay, no errors this time. Let's see. It doesn't look to me though like I got like notification click happened, like it wasn't called. Let's make sure about that. Okay, that should be irrefutable. Definitely not getting called. And what I'm wondering is if it has to be set, if that listener has to be added before this promise gets invoked here. That's my suspicion. I guess it's time to look around. What is this? Is add event listener notification click. Alright, so let's do this. Let's do a little research here. Service worker. Okay, it looks like someone else has had the same issue. Yeah. Right, you see, and he did exactly the same thing I did, which is right, and he's going to tell you, okay, great. Okay, so the answer is the correct place for handling clicks of service worker based notifications is in service worker. Okay, well, that's great. You need to move your listener, yeah, right, to your service worker code. Right, we did that, but it didn't work. Note that you don't have window access there to navigate to the URL. You need to use client.open window instead, yeah, okay? So your app side code will only have the reg.show notification call and your handler in the service, right, okay. Right, of course that has to be in the service worker code because the page isn't pulled up. Okay, so yeah, that much is sort of obvious in retrospect. But what isn't clear, is it literally, okay, is it gonna be like literally self? Whoops. Oh, get out of here. Okay. We're going to literally put self in here. I can't imagine how this would work, and if it does, I'm going to be kind of disappointed in the universe because it doesn't make any damn sense. But Oh, so I don't know why that is not working like it should. Okay. It didn't throw up. You can't be real here. You are. Okay, so there's something in the service worker called self. I have no idea what it is. Well, I don't want to say no idea, but it isn't at all obvious. Let's have a look. Let's see what self is. If that isn't there's just this random property called self, you know, what the fuck. Great. I mean, I'm glad it's there because I'm going to use it, but how did Shakespeare put it? It's a clear as water is a urinal, in the urinal, I think. Something like that. Oh, I didn't click it. Okay. Other self. Okay, self is a service worker global scope. Okay. And it has lots and lots of properties. Huh. It's got a crypto property. Okay, for payments it looks like. Okay, that's really interesting. We'll have to dig into that some more at some point, but that's cool. Okay, so it did work, and it was self, and I overthought it. The documentation was good. I said it was stupid, and it wasn't. So now I fear what may be stupid. It might have been me. Okay, so here is the notification, and you see, so let's clear this and let's push this out again. Okay. Let's have a look at this notification. So the action is dismiss. What I don't see is the data. Alright, so I was expecting, I guess, to see with that event this data. Okay, so let's go back and look at the docs and see what it says about that. Okay, so notification e.notification. Okay, so e.notification. Oh. Aha, notification data. Okay, so what I'd imagine I would do with the data is push the relevant, whether it be the ID or whatever other identifier I might need in order to append that to the URL for the order. I guess you could possibly just append the URL so that you don't have that hard-coded in your service worker. Or I could just put it right here. That would be good because this is in my React code. But this isn't going to be in my React code. This is all going to be pushed. All this stuff right here, all this is coming out. It's all going to be pushed from the server from a mock API route, which I'll have to work on for the next video in the series. Okay. Okay, yeah. Let's talk real quick. That was all the coding I wanted to do for the evening. couple of notification or a couple of things to consider if you are planning on doing a PWA and you care at all what iOS does. Besides suck, right? iOS sucks, first of all. Let's be clear about that. And the reason that they suck in this particular case is they don't grant Safari or any other browser, at least from what I've read, push notification permission. That is something that they reserve for their stupid little app store and all the apps in it. I find it so despicable because it's just about control. They're so fucking control happy. I can't stand it. Anyway, so just in general though, so the solution that will come to iOS for me and for all those who deny permission will be to fall back to SMS notification or email notification. Yeah, okay, so I'll include a couple links to the main documentation. There's also some other options for the properties that you could set for like your notification here. We'll just look at those real quick. Okay, so the actions, which we've seen a bit of, a badge, okay, cool. Body, data, directory, the direction, or the, not just the direction of the notification. Okay, alright, left to right or right to left, or auto, icon, yes, image, okay. Some of these, like icon and image, like they won't necessarily be supported by all browsers. Re-notify, that's interesting. A boolean that indicates whether to suppress vibrations and audible alerts when reusing a tag value. If options re-notify is true and options tag is the empty string, a type error will be thrown. Okay, alright. So I guess we'll have to see. Okay, require interaction indicates that on devices with sufficiently large screens, the notification should remain active until the user clicks or dismisses it. If this value is absent or false, okay, well, silent, okay, so it kills vibrate or any sound that goes with the notification. Tag, okay, so an ID for a given notification that allows you to find, replace, or remove the notification using a script if necessary. Okay, so it seems like that would actually be kind of a useful thing to have. Perhaps to make sure that you don't notify them of the same. They don't get notified about the same notification more than once. So let me pull this over here. Let me just put it in the notes section. Use tag as an identifier for notifications. Okay. Alright. So that's there. Okay. And maybe there was one more thing, max actions. I remember seeing something about that. And that, let's see. Max actions, okay. In the section on cross-platform differences, let's see. You can check the maximum number of action buttons that can be displayed by calling notification max actions. Do this when you create notifications so you can adapt them if needed, right? So you... Okay, a good practice is to assume that the notification system cannot support any actions other than the notification click. Right, which is why I use notification click. And so I guess that would mean that you would need that's not really all that clear, because So you have max actions, so that would mean that you're limited here in the number of actions that you could put into this array. And the way that you identify which action is being triggered, as we just saw, is what button is being pushed. So if you look at like view here, and we go back and look at my service worker, and you look at the notification, I'm sorry, I should be showing you the notification, you'll see that the action matches the action property here. So if your max actions are only 1, then does that mean that you would only have, I guess you could say view is, or dismiss is implicit, hopefully, and then just have the view action in your worst case scenario, I guess. I'm not sure. Anyway, I guess we'll find that out in praxis. But yeah, so max notifications, that could be kind of a hang up if you're planning on doing this, along with the fact that iOS doesn't support push notifications from PWAs at this time, which does suck. But whatever, what can you do? Alright, I guess that's everything I have for the evening. Video 2, we are going to actually make the push notification come from the server. So I'll have to do some research around that and get a document ready. After I do that, we will reconvene. Thank you so much.